TB Joshua is a Nigerian pastor, televangelist and philanthropist. He is the leader and founder of the Synagogue, Church of All Nations, SCOAN, a Christian organization which runs the Emmanuel TV television station from Lagos, Nigeria. TB Joshua was born on the 12th of June 1963 at Arigidi, Ondo State, Nigeria. Currently, he is almost 56 years. He resides in Lagos, in Nigeria. TB Joshua is a Nigerian by birth and citizenship. His net worth is between $10 million to $15 million, according to Forbes, 2011. TB Joshua got married to Evelyn Joshua in 1990, and they are going strong. They have 3 children. His eldest daughter, Sarah Joshua, is a graduate from the London School of Economics, Department of Law, and she was called to the bar in Nigeria in December 2015. His second daughter, Promise Joshua, is studying politics and international relations, also at the London School of Economics. TB Joshua is known for his popularity across Africa and Latin America and his social media presence with about 3.5 million fans on Facebook. His YouTube channel, Emmanuel TV, has over 1.2 million YouTube subscribers and over 4.2 million views, and it is the world's most viewed Christian ministry on the platform. Google ranked one of Emmanuel TV's YouTube videos as the 4th most viewed clip ever within Nigeria. Described as the Oprah of evangelism and YouTube's most popular pastor, Emmanuel TV is among the world's largest Christian television networks. TB Joshua has been awarded various accolades, notably receiving the Officer of the Order of the Federal Republic by the Nigerian government in 2008, and being voted the Yoruba Man of the Decade by Pan-Yoruba media outlet, Irahinodwu. He has been called one of Africa's 50 most influential people by the Pan-African magazine, The Africa Report, and the New African magazine. As of 2011, according to Forbes, TB Joshua was Nigeria's 3rd richest pastor, although the claim was immediately denied in a statement by the church. He is known to be controversial and was even blacklisted by the government of Cameroon in 2010. According to TB Joshua's official biography, unusual circumstances surrounded his birth. He says that he spent 15 months in his mother's womb and narrowly avoided death after a quarry explosion near his house sent rocks through its roof just 7 days after his birth. It is also alleged that TB Joshua's birth was prophesied 100 years earlier. TB Joshua, then known as Balogun Francis, attended St. Stephen's Anglican Primary School in Arigidi, in Akoko, Northwest Nigeria, between 1971 and 1977, but failed to complete 1 year of secondary school education. In school, he was known as Small Pastor because of his love for the Bible. He worked in various casual jobs after his schooling had ended, including carrying chicken waste at a poultry farm. He organized Bible studies for local children and attended evening school during this period. TB Joshua attempted to join the Nigerian military, but was thwarted due to a train breakdown that left him stranded en route to the military academy. TB Joshua wrote that in a heavenly vision, he had received divine anointing and a covenant from God to start his ministry. Following this, TB Joshua founded the ministry organization, the Synagogue, Church of All Nations, SCOAN. According to the organization, more than 15,000 members attend its weekly Sunday service. Visitors from outside Nigeria are accommodated in the accommodation blocks constructed at the church. The Guardian reported that the SCOAN attracts more weekly attendees than the combined number of visitors to Buckingham Palace and the Tower of London. The SCOAN's popular services have also resulted in an enormous boost for local businesses and hoteliers. Despite TB Joshua's popularity, the church only has a branch in the country of Ghana, TB Joshua stating that it is not yet time for him to have branches worldwide, as it will be too much for his character. The Scone has been described as Nigeria's biggest tourist attraction and the most visited destination by religious tourists in West Africa, with thousands of foreigners flocking to attend the church's weekly services. Figures released by the Nigerian Immigration Service indicated that 6 out of every 10 foreign travelers coming into Nigeria are bound for the Scone, a fact discussed in Zimbabwean parliament when addressing the economic potentials of religious tourism. This day newspapers reported that about 2 million local and inbound tourists visit the Scone annually. The church's popularity has led to an increase in flight routes to Lagos from several African countries in 2013. TB Joshua's contribution to Nigeria's religious tourism was highlighted when he hinted at the possibility of relocating his ministry to Israel during a Sunday service. The announcement proved controversial, with several prominent Nigerians urging him to remain in the country, citing the economic setbacks Nigeria would likely experience through his potential relocation. Scone claims regular occurrences of divine miracles. Several hundred Nigerians and international visitors come to the Scone each week to register for the prayer lines, where the visitors are prayed over by TB Joshua. Scone has published numerous videos, claiming to document the healing of incurable disabilities and illnesses, such as HIV/AIDS, blindness and open wounds. Spiritual healing at the Scone has been the subject of several media reports, including a mention in Time magazine, an Associated Press interview, and an article by Foreign Policy, detailing the tendency of Nigerians to seek spiritual help due to insufficient medical facilities. A huge debate was stirred within Nigeria when the father of abducted schoolgirl, Izoruru, stated his intention to take his daughter to TB Joshua for prayers following her release. Similarly, a leaked report stating the intention of Nigeria's embattled former petroleum minister, Diezani Alison Madueke, to visit TB Joshua for spiritual support in her battle against breast cancer, elicited controversy. Many have also claimed to be healed through anointing water, which has been prayed over by TB Joshua and given to those who are unable to physically attend his church in Lagos. Others claim they were protected from deadly incidents because they had the water with them. In 2013, 4 people died in a stampede in TB Joshua's Scone, Ghanaian branch, when an unadvertised service drew huge crowds far beyond the church's capacity, bringing Ghana's capital city, Accra, almost to a standstill. TB Joshua also made headlines when he claimed that his anointing water could cure the deadly disease, Ebola. He subsequently sent 4,000 bottles of the water, alongside a cash gift of $50,000 to the Ebola-stricken nation of Sierra Leone. This came after Lagos state health officials visited TB Joshua, requesting him to publicly discourage Ebola victims from visiting his church for prayers. A Sierra Leonean politician later claimed the water helped stop the spread of the disease and cured several Ebola victims. Scone is also known for the purported deliverance of those allegedly possessed by evil spirits during its services. Strange occurrences have been reported during these deliverance prayers, including the case of a South African girl who allegedly cried blood, and a Liberian man who began behaving like a dog. A young man allegedly delivered from a homosexual demon at the Scone also attracted widespread media attention, as did the transformation of a Paraguayan transvestite. After deliverance, those involved often confessed the atrocities which the evil spirit allegedly pushed them to engage in, such as prostitution, armed robbery, internet fraud, and human trafficking. The wife of a Ghanaian goalkeeper, Richard Kingson, was delivered of an evil spirit, which was supposedly behind her husband's inability to procure a contract. Notable Ghanaian human rights lawyer, Quibula Sananyu, claimed that he was delivered from a spiritual problem. Similarly, Ghanaian musician Denise Williams said she was delivered from a demon that had pushed her to become a drug addict and suicidal. Veteran Nigerian Hollywood actress Camilla Mperip was also said to have been delivered at the SCOAN. Popular Hollywood actor Jimmy Ike also said he received deliverance at the SCOAN, and the video of the event subsequently going viral. A video of a Kenyan Olympic athlete, Mercy Cherono, receiving deliverance through TB Joshua's prayers attracted widespread attention in Kenya. She subsequently testified, in the company of her husband, how the evil spirit had negatively affected her young marriage and career. Although TB Joshua rarely goes abroad, he has traveled to Korea, Singapore, Indonesia, Australia, Colombia, Mexico, Peru, and Paraguay to hold crusades. He also visited Israel to receive a humanitarian award from Zucker and visit biblical sites. His miracle crusade in Cali, Colombia in July 2014 was allegedly attended by 100,000 people and held in the Estadio Olímpico Pascual Guerrero. He additionally held a meeting with Cali's police force, giving a donation of $100,000 to support the families killed or injured in the course of their duties. The SCOAN is involved in extensive humanitarian projects worldwide. A Forbes blogger estimated that TB Joshua has spent $20 million on charitable activities. Several media reports show the church has donated large amounts of money in order to help orphans, widows, elderly, physically challenged, and destitute. There is also a rehabilitation program for militants from Nigeria's volatile Niger Delta region, repentant armed robbers, and sex workers who came to the church for deliverance. TB Joshua allegedly joins his team in several of the humanitarian journeys they undertake to less privileged communities. TB Joshua has come to the aid of several communities in distress, notably providing 2 transformers to a local community after theirs was burnt beyond repair. He donated over 26 million naira towards restoring electricity and putting an end to over 2 years of power outage in 4 councils in a Akoko area of Ondo State. Also, he has additionally made several large donations to the police force in Nigeria, Ghana, and Colombia. The SCOAN has a scholarship program which caters for the academic needs of students in their thousands, ranging from primary to tertiary education. In 2012, TB Joshua sponsored a Nigerian student doing a PhD in Oxford University, with Nigerian media reporting she received £100,000 from the church. He also gave a scholarship to a young Motswana to study at Harvard Law School in America. After the 2010 Haiti earthquake, TB Joshua sent a team of medical personnel and humanitarian workers to the affected area, establishing a field hospital called Clinique Emmanuel. Additionally, he sent support to nations such as Philippines, India, and Ghana in the wake of varying natural disasters. The Emmanuel TV team also assisted victims of the earthquake that struck the nation of Ecuador in April 2016, providing over $500,000 worth of humanitarian aid. TB Joshua funded the building and running of a school in Lahore, Pakistan, named Emmanuel School. He also rebuilt a school in a rural area destroyed by the 2016 Ecuador earthquake, traveling to Ecuador for the opening of the school in June 2017. Several groups of Nigerians attempting illegal travel to Europe through Libya have been supported at the SCOAN, following their deportation from the North African nation with only the clothes on their backs. Stories of the harsh conditions they encountered and TB Joshua's subsequent assistance made headlines in several local newspapers. In 2008, TB Joshua started a football club, My People FC, as part of efforts to help the youth. 2 members of the team played for Nigeria's Golden Eaglets in the 2009 FIFA Under-17 World Cup. Sani Emmanuel, who apparently lived in the Scone for several years, was Nigeria's top scorer and the tournament's most valuable player. Emmanuel and his colleague, Eugenio Nazzi, signed professional contracts with SS Lazio Nazzi, a key player for the Nigerian senior team, the Super Eagles. WBO International Light Middleweight Boxing Champion, King Davidson of Nogu, said that TB Joshua has financially supported him throughout his career, and purportedly prophesied that he would be a world boxing champion. TB Joshua was involved in the meeting of the family of the late President of Liberia, Samuel Doe, with the former warlord Prince Johnson, who was responsible for Doe's death. During this meeting, the family publicly forgave Johnson, who said it was through TB Joshua's prayers that he stopped drinking alcohol and turned to Christianity. In recognition of his humanitarian activities, he was awarded a national honor by the Nigerian government in 2008, as well as receiving a letter of appreciation from the United Nations. He was further honored as an ambassador of peace by the Iowa Youth Forum, a predominantly Muslim organization, as well as being recognized with an Award of Excellence by Zaka, Israel's primary rescue and recovery voluntary service. Scone claims that TB Joshua has successfully predicted events in the lives of individuals who attend his church services, as well as worldwide events, including a purported prophecy of Michael Jackson's death and the outcome of 2 African Cup of Nations final matches, which were won by Zambia and Nigeria respectively. He has been voted by the public among the most famous prophets. His prophecy about the impending death of an African president was widely reported in African press. TB Joshua's followers believed the prophecy concerning the former president of Malawi, Bingu Mutharika, who died in 2012, aged 78. False rumors spread, using TB Joshua's name, are known to have caused widespread panic in communities, affected sporting events, music concerts, and led people to stop using social networks. When Hamza al-Mustafa, the chief security officer of former Nigerian President Sani Abacha, was released after 11 years of imprisonment, his first port of call was to TB Joshua's church, in acknowledgement of a prophecy TB Joshua allegedly gave him when Abacha was still in power. Scone released a video claiming that TB Joshua predicted the Malaysian Airlines MH370 event. The prophecy received a lot of attention on social media, and its accompanying YouTube video amassed over 1 million views. Several terrorist attacks perpetrated by ISIS, Al-Qaeda affiliates, and Al-Shabaab militants have allegedly been predicted by TB Joshua, including the November 2015 Paris attacks, the Garissa University College attack in Kenya, the Ouagadougou hotel siege in Burkina Faso, and the 2016 Brussels bombings. It is also claimed that he predicted the Boston bombing attacks in America. TB Joshua's alleged prophecy in April 2016 that an impending terror attack would befall Ghana made national headlines in the West African nation and led the national police to issue a statement calling for the general public to be calm and vigilant. 600 foreigners reportedly cancelled their visits to Ghana in the wake of the statement. Days later, a captured Malian terrorist confessed that his group had planned to target Ghana. TB Joshua incorrectly predicted that Hillary Clinton would win the 2016 U.S. election. After this prophecy failed to materialize, with Donald Trump winning the election, TB Joshua stated that he was referring to Clinton's win in the popular vote, and any misinterpretation was due to a lack of spiritual understanding. A video of TB Joshua predicting the military of an undisclosed Southern African nation embarrassing killing or capturing a president or vice president, or the First Lady of the nation, surfaced on social media after the statement, which was made and recorded in August 2014, was interpreted as a prophecy of the 2017 coup against President Robert Mugabe. Notable visitors to Scone have included the late Ghanaian President John Evans Atta Mills, South Africa's Winnie Mandela, EFF leader Julius Malema, the Zulu King Goodwill Zwelithini, former Malawian President Joyce Banda, Zimbabwean Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangirai, and the late Zambian President Frederick Chiluba, who once stated that he watched Emmanuel TV daily. Tanzanian President John Magufuli visited the Scone in 2011. Days to his inauguration in November 2015, TB Joshua visited Tanzania, where he met Magufuli, who received him at the airport, the outgoing president, Jakaya Kikwete, and opposition leader, Edward Lowassa. His visit caused a media storm in Tanzania, even though he did not publicly appear at the inauguration. Nigeria's former president, Goodluck Jonathan, visited the Scone in September 2014, following the tragic building collapse of a guest house within the church premises. After Jonathan conceded defeat to Muhammadu Buhari in Nigeria's historic 2015 elections, TB Joshua controversially claimed he had warned him of his impending electoral defeat, an assertion later corroborated by one of Jonathan's aides. A BBC Africa journalist once questioned whether TB Joshua was the most powerful man in Africa, due to his alleged influence in the African political sphere. Days after the late John Atta Mills became president of Ghana in 2009, his first port of call was TB Joshua's church for a Thanksgiving service, where he revealed that TB Joshua had accurately prophesied his ascension to power and specific details relating to his narrow victory over Nana Akufo-Addo. TB Joshua was a regular visitor to the country of Ghana during Atta Mills' early presidency and allegedly organized prayer warriors to be praying in the Uso Castle. TB Joshua's much publicized prophecy concerning the death of Malawian President Bingu Mutharika garnered intense media attention and was subsequently the subject of a Malawian government inquiry, as his successor, Joyce Banda, is a devotee of TB Joshua. Banda claimed TB Joshua's prayers healed her husband after he suffered a stroke, and regularly visited TB Joshua in Nigeria while she was head of state. TB Joshua played the role of a peacemaker in the aftermath of the Tanzanian elections in 2015, visiting the country to meet and hold reconciliatory talks with President John Magufuli, a member of his church, and opposition leader Edward Lowassa. Commentators acknowledged that his visit significantly reduced tensions in the country after the elections, which the opposition party alleged were fraught with irregularities. TB Joshua was a key influence in former Liberian warlord Senator Prince Johnson's decision to endorse the candidacy of George Weah for president in the 2017 Liberian elections. His endorsement came days after the two were spotted publicly together in the Scone, a visit that caused a media storm in Liberia. Weah's main opponent and current vice president, Joseph Boakai, also allegedly requested to visit TB Joshua in lieu of the elections. Emmanuel TV, the Scone television station, broadcasts 24/7. Its Sunday services are broadcast live. TB Joshua's programs also air weekly on a number of local television stations across Africa. It debuted on DSTV and GoTV in November 2015, as well as StarTimes in February 2016. In its profile on TB Joshua, the BBC described him as Nigeria's best-known televangelist. A Ghanaian psychiatrist in the UK was controversially sacked from the NHS after recommending Emmanuel TV to a patient with a history of satanic abuse, although later cleared of any wrongdoing by a tribunal. Emmanuel TV's motto is changing lives, changing nations, changing the world. The station is also known for its catchphrase, "Distance is not a barrier," encouraging viewers to pray along with TB Joshua by touching the screen. There are several claims of people receiving miraculous healing through these prayers, including popular Hollywood actress Tonto TK, who said TB Joshua's prayers ended her 14-year smoking addiction. TB Joshua has earned a reputation for not focusing on the prosperity gospel, and Emmanuel TV is known as one of the few Christian channels that does not engage in fundraising on air. TB Joshua has many critics and is known to be controversial. He has been publicly condemned by several prominent pastors within Nigeria, his most vocal critic being Pastor Chris Okauti, who described him as a son of the devil. The Christian Association of Nigeria and Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria have both acknowledged TB Joshua is not a member of either organization and denounced him as an impostor. Enoch Adeboye, David Oyedepo, Ayo Ejiofor, Paul Adefarazen, and Matthew Ashimolowu are among the pastors who publicly denounced TB Joshua, as did disgraced American megachurch leader Ted Haggard. TB Joshua was blacklisted by the government of Cameroon in 2010 and termed a son of the devil. Rumors of a visit by TB Joshua to Zimbabwe in 2012 led to an intense national debate, culminating with pastors and politicians strongly objecting. A popular Ghanaian witch doctor said he went to the Vatican City to report TB Joshua to Pope Francis for his false prophecies. In 2011, several media houses in the UK reported that at least 3 people in London with HIV died after they stopped taking life-saving drugs on the advice of their pastors. The HIV prevention charity African Health Policy Network believed that the SCOAN may be one of those involved in such practices, although the 3 in question have no demonstrable link to the SCOAN. The BBC quoted the SCOAN as saying, "No, we do not ask people to stop taking their medication." On the 14th of September 2015, it was reported that TB Joshua secretly purchased a $60 million Gulfstream G550 private jet. These rumors were dismissed as false by a media aide of TB Joshua. A self-confessed member of the Islamic sect, Boko Haram, came to the SCOAN in March 2014, allegedly with plans to bomb the church. According to him, it was TB Joshua's prayers that prevented the plan and later compelled him to confess. The subsequent clip of the confession went viral on YouTube and proved very controversial. A group known as the Movement for Accountability and Good Governance has called for the investigation of the incident based on the claims that were made. On the 12th of September 2014, a guest house collapsed in the SCOAN's premises in Lagos, killing at least 115 people, 84 of them South Africans. Controversy has continued to swirl around the circumstances that led to the collapse, with the former Nigerian Minister of Aviation, Femi Fani-Kayode, alleging Nigeria's intelligence agencies blew up the building. In March 2016, the president of Malawi, Peter Mutharika, attacked TB Joshua as a false prophet for allegedly predicting his impending death. His comments were condemned by the Evangelical Association of Malawi, especially as there was no record of the purported prediction. Nigeria's Premium Times newspaper stated that TB Joshua incorporated a company called Shyalong Consultancy Limited in the British Virgin Islands in June 2006, based on reports stemming from the Panama Papers leak. TB Joshua immediately denied his involvement, stating on Facebook, "I am not a businessman and have no business whatsoever. What God has given me is more than enough." A prominent Nigerian Muslim cleric, Sheikh Hossein Yusuf Mabira, threatened to drag TB Joshua to court for describing Jesus Christ as God. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share and subscribe.